Welcome. And in this live stream, we will concentrate on 7 or more concepts, which will enable you to play Tuesday's Gone. We shall be right back.
At String Sound Studios.
Hi, good day. Mike Violette of String Sound Studios. And I'd like to apologize. I don't know what's going on at the start of the live stream there. We're getting a little bit all funky things. Went to the ending screen or something. But hope everything's going well. And before it was... so if you see some short ones there, just don't pay attention to it. All right, let's get started here. So a little bit off to a rough start, and I'm pointing out my mistakes. But hopefully the rest of it will be good. And as I mentioned before, we're going to do about 7 different concepts to get you going on this. So we are streaming to you from multiple platforms, all kinds of different things: YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Daily Motion. Please subscribe. Subscribe to especially my YouTube, and check out Vimeo. Please subscribe or follow me on Vimeo, and follow me on all kinds of different platforms, social media platforms. All right. Now, one of the first things I want to talk about in Tuesday's Gone is playing in 12/8 time, right? So the tune's in 12/8 time. Now, what does all that mean? Well, when we have the bottom number of a time signature at 8, that means my 8th note will be getting 1 count, okay? So if you're not that advanced, just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You could feel that in the song. Now 12/8 can be simple or can be compound. Simple meaning it can be broken out into 2s. Compound meaning 3. So for this song, and in most cases, I would say that 12/8, 4 beats, compound. So you tend to have a strong 1 in this tune. 1 isn't terribly strong, but 4, and then 7, and then 10. And it's almost like you're thinking triplets, groups of 3, which end, right? Between 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And if you listen to Tuesday's Gone or listen to me play it here, you'll hear how that's played. Okay. All right. Then we also have use capos. Common fingerings. Are going to discuss all that: arpeggio picking, suspended chords, pedal tones, and everything else. So let's get going. Now, we talked about 12/8 time. That's part of the lesson, right? Let's talk about use of capos. Now, and using common fingerings. Those are the next 2 things on there. Let me move over a little bit here. One of the things I'm doing is I'm using full capos, right, on the song. And I'm going to continue to use my thumb and zoom in, and I'm going to zoom in a minute. But I want you to take a look, okay? Now, I'm not going to, this is an A chord, and if you're familiar, this is an A bar chord, and if you're familiar with chords, I'm not going to go to an E chord like this. I mean, that might be good if you're playing in first position. One of the things we're going to do is, I'm going to show you, right, is we're going to take this, and I'm just going to go back to here, keeping that same shape, all right? That is what I'll call use of common fingerings. And so we're going to zoom in, and I'm going to show you the intro. We're not going to do the solo. I'll save the solo for another time, all right? I'll play it, but I'll save it for another time. So let's get going on this. I'm going to zoom in, and we'll show you how that kind of works. Okay, give me a couple seconds to zoom this in here. There we are. I'm behind the chat box. All right, here we go. Now, first things, my A chord is going to be in 5th position. And again, I'm going to use my thumb here to show you how to strum it and everything else. I'll play really close so you're not looking way down there on the guitar at the body, and you can see everything good here. Hopefully you can see everything. All right. So let's zoom out. More technical difficulties. All right, here we go. Now, what I'm talking about is I have this here. When you do a capo, especially a full capo, they can be tricky if you're not used to playing guitar too much just yet. You got to get better, right? And what I do recommend is playing things with smaller capos at first to get used to playing capos. However, on this, you're going to do a capo. We want to take the capo should be flat and straight, a full capo, okay? We're doing a full capo here, and this, you got to go to the 5th fret, okay? Remember, don't count, this is 3, 5. Don't go 1, 2, 3. That's 3, that's 5. Dots are odd numbers for the most part. And we're going to put that there, flat and straight. We're going to still play as close to the frets as possible here, okay, with my capo. I'll just press that a moment. Okay, you take a look right here. This part of your hand, when you play guitar, or parts of your fingers, get calluses on them too. And the point being, you want to go like, oh, I'm number 1. Or I'm number 1. So we're going to do this here. And you see how it's flat and it's straight? Okay? You don't want to bind. You don't want to do that. My point is with this, playing the A chord like this rather than this, you can do that, is when I go down to the E chord, I'll keep the phase shifter on. See that shape? It retains that same shape, so I just have to move. Here's my E chord. Oh, it's the same E chord as this. You know, it's just a different finger. So I'm keeping it like this. And that serves a lot of purposes in, well, playing something like this, because now I go, my 3rd chord is I go to my F sharp. And my hand positioning is already set up for that. To play the F sharp minor, I got to get rid of this. Don't put it way out here. So let's take a look at the first 3 chords, 3 or 4 chords. I have an A chord, all right? Strum that. We'll talk about the rhythm in a minute. Now down to the E chord. Then I'm going to go to my F sharp. Here's your intro, right? Then I'm going to go to a D. You could play a D with a capo also. However, I'm going to do it in the old common traditional way, whatever you want to call it. So again, the first 3 chords are A, E, F sharp minor, then D. All right? And when you go back to the A, you're going to go like this. Same thing to the E, and then a D again. Then your solo comes in at the end of that D. Now, let's talk about the rhythm behind this. All right? We also have arpeggio picking, but right now we're going to strum. And when this tune first starts, you could strum that 1, 2, 3, 4. To A. okay, so forth and so on. Now let me stop there a minute. Let's just take the first two chords. What I was talking about is separating those, the 12/8, okay, into threes, 4 threes, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We want to get, in this tune, the 1 is not so strong. That's obscured. But the 4, the 7, and the 10. So you can think of triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, eighth notes, groups of eighth notes, and 3. Okay, so you have groups of eighth notes. You have 4 groups of eighth note triplets, rather. Groups of eighth notes. All right, 3 beats in there. So you have this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 1 bar. 1 bar of music. This is slow. It might sound, it doesn't sound really fast, but it might sound a little quicker to you. Okay? But that's 1 bar of music. Remember, okay? The tempo is what's going to, what's fast and slow, not the rhythm. Okay? So what's inside of the tempo, overall tempo, is the rhythm. So we have this, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. D. Back to the A. Now I'm going to show you that riff there. Or you could just strum a D chord. Hi, Rox, how are you? Thank you. Or you could just strum a D chord. In the first part of the tune, I don't believe he does this. I would do that more towards the end of the solo. You can do it, but I'll show you that in a minute. All right. Well, let's go through the whole intro, and I'm going to play it for you again so you can hear it. Ready? 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so if we take a look at that, let's stop that a minute. All right, in the first part, before the solo, you can do this. So far, we talked about 12/8 time. We also talked about use capos, use common fingerings, and arpeggio picking. And we're going to talk about that riff, which is a suspended sound. That's another thing. It's a D9 sound. I'm going to show you how to play it here, okay? It's not a hard riff. It actually does, I was wrong before, it does come in before the guitar solo, all right? And what you have here is this. So you have this. You're just going to play an open D, keep your second finger here, right? And then you go. Okay? Here. Then he goes to an A chord. So if you're going to do the solo, you got to watch where that comes in. You're fine going if you're going to play just the rhythm guitar on that. You pick that up, all right? So you're going to do the little solo there. You learn the chords first. I would learn the chords first. Then worry about getting the solo in there later. Right? Now, again, you got to count. Now watch. I'm going to just play on these second strings. That last riff is C sharp to D, open E, then play an open A, then go to the A chord. Gives you time to get back to here. Instead of going, oh my God. Especially if you're doing the solo or you want to jump to the A chord, right? And then you can get to your A chord. So just hold this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come in on beat 4 of that. Come in on, the second group of the three group of triplets, okay, or eighth notes, all right? So watch. So let's take that again from the beginning. The other thing I'm going to talk to you about, okay, in this is right after that is arpeggio picking. Okay? You could remember they have like 3 guitarists all the time, and in the studio version, there's all kinds of things going on in the song, backing. I mean, they got violins and all kinds of things, keyboards. So it's a really great arrangement. Excellent tune. I'm going to play this again from the beginning so you could hear it, and then I'll play the solo and I'll get that riff in there too. Okay, let's try it again from the beginning with the looper. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And there's your verse. So, stop, looper. There is your verse. The verse chords are the same as the introduction, okay? And you have these 2 riffs here. The first part of the verse, okay? And then before he goes to the chorus, there's a little bit different riff. And it's not in my backing track, but it does this. And I'm going to show you that right now. Actually, I'm not going to show you that. Let's talk a minute about arpeggio picking, okay? Now, what is arpeggio picking? Well, it comes from the word harp-like. Arpeggio, harp-like. And what you can do, remember, you got 3 guitars to 2 guitars. One guy's doing the strumming the chords. You don't want to do the same thing as him. You could arpeggio pick, and you can make up that pattern out of the chord, meaning just play, okay? Play a pattern, let's say like that. Then go to the E, right? And keep that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going. So you figure something out for that, okay? Here's my E chord. Back to the A. So let me play that from here. Just an arpeggio pick. I'm not going to play here, but listen to the sound, right? So one guy's going. And your friend is going. Doing it slow. One of the things I am doing, I'm holding the whole chord down like this. I mean, you could do these forms. Okay, and then go to a D. One guy could do that, or you could just play the higher part of the chord. And go to the E chord like this, keeping it the same. so far, so F sharp, but I'm not playing the bass note. I'm going like this. Playing maybe the higher notes of the chord from the 4th string up. D, which in essence is the same thing as this. Let me show you these chords, okay? This is an A chord, comes right from this form. 5th position, I'm just not doing a full A chord. All right, that's in 5th position. So I got 3, 2, 1 diagonal, like an F chord here, right? Well, it is like an F, it's the same shape. You can capo it, you can keep it open too. Then I'm gonna go to my E chord. Now, I'm gonna go to my E chord here. See that? You come back, so you have this bass line, descent, I wouldn't say bass, but that kind of in the cello type thing, right? Then D, open. So your 3rd finger is moving like this. Dun, 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 dun. Here, F sharp, then open D. And here are your chords, A. Then we're gonna go back 3rd finger. You can keep that capo. 3, 1, 2. That's a D chord, right? I mean, shape of a D chord, it's an E chord. Oh yeah, remember what I talked about before? You bring that up, look for those shapes there. So I have 3, right? 3 here, then I have 1 here, 3, 1, then 2, and then capo. If you can do the capo, if not, just leave these 3 open. Then here. Okay, so you have this. You go to the D and a capo, or D like this. So there you have that. I will play that in the intro rather than the full chord. So now you have 2 ways to do this. Okay? And you should do it if you're playing with someone else. You never want to be playing the same exact thing. You know, do different voicings. This is a, well, not voicing, this is different. Okay? Essentially, they are very similar, but you can arpeggio pick better just using these 4 strings. So the chord voicing is how you build the chord from low to high. Okay? And you're kind of more or less voice leading here. You know, this is this E, right? See that? Then you go to the F sharp. So let me take it from the beginning again, and I'll just use these little forms so you can see what I'm doing. 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. So forth and so on. So there you have that. Right? Now the form of this tune, it goes on and on. It's a pretty long song. It's probably like 8 minutes long. And there's all kinds of different solos and everything else. All right. But so far, just by learning the introduction and learning that first verse, we know a lot of the song. And we're going to do that riff that I mentioned before. That's before every chorus. Then we'll do the chorus. Okay? You know, I could try to play I could play the whole thing at the end of this. So now, what do you have here? You have Tuesday. He goes into the chorus there. After that riff, and let me show that to you. So now, we start out with that same, right, here to here. E sus2, we'll call that, right? Now, he doesn't do that 4 times. He does it each one once. Then he goes to the F sharp. So here's your D chord. Suspension. that's a D chord also. So what's he changing here? Really, if you simplify it, he always plays the open D. He's going E, D, F sharp, D, G, D, A, D. Let's do that again. All right. Now, here it is. I'll play it down here so you can, I don't have to play like this. I will take a listen to it. All right. When you do the suspension, watch. I would put 3 here. Sorry. Then go to the A like that. So basically you're doing this, open E, then into the chorus. Okay? So one more time here. Let's take a listen to it. Now your chorus chords. Okay? I wouldn't do this. If you're playing this riff, you're set right up for that. All right? I mean, you could. But on the chorus chords, you want to make these very arpeggiando. So your chords are in A. So here, he's got 1. Plays strong on 3 and strong on 4. So it's like 1, 2, 4, 5. So you get that feel. A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come in on beat 7 on the G. Let's take a look at the G chord, how I'm playing the G chord. This one I'm playing 2, 1, 3, 4. I mean, you could just do this or this. I like putting this here with that chord. It just sounds great. And remember, we're going to roll this. So we have this. How you want that? Arpeggiado that. Great. Like roll that. There's like a squiggly line. You see that in the music. Okay? And then to a D chord. So your chorus goes like this. Let's take it from here. It's an A. D, full bar D, back to A, E, all right, now, the other thing I wanted to include in this, we're in the chorus here, and when he plays this riff, for the most part, every time he does it, this, it's dynamic. It starts out soft, builds up, then comes back down. All right? So you want to include dynamics. I mean, they include dynamics, and it's a very dynamic song. So dynamics are the degrees in volume at which music is played. So again, the degrees in volume at which music is played. So when you come into this riff, you go... Right? He gets softer. Train along. Right, so it builds up with a crescendo, gradual increase in volume, comes back down into diminuendo, and then he's in the verse. Now, when you go to the chorus, this kind of starts out softer and builds up in volume, right? Big chorus. Tuesday's gone, right? With the wind. More dramatic there. So listen to the dynamics in this, and when you're playing with your friends in the band, you go, well, we gotta work on the dynamics. Don't just listen to the notes, the chords, the rhythms. Yeah, you gotta listen to that too. But it's a dynamic song, and Lynyrd Skynyrd tends to be a very dynamic band in a lot of respects. Okay, I really always love their music. I would say my favorite band. I mean, I'm into jazz. I'm into my favorite rock band, if you want to call it classic rock, whatever Nashville thing, is Lynyrd Skynyrd. I just love their music, and always will. And it's fun to play. And they're good soloists. They have three guitarists that are just very different in sound and nature and style. These solos on this are, I'm almost certain, are played by Gary Rossington, who played, yeah, they are. They're played by Gary Rossington, who has that, he likes to use that phase shifter here. That's another thing. We'll talk a little bit about effects. He's using a little bit of phase shifter on here, a little bit of overdrive, and he's using a Les Paul. And he's got such a great sound. And he's very expressive guitar player, all right? And so are the other guys as well, but they each have their own kind of way they play. All right, the Steve Gaines type, quick type playing. Same thing with Alan Collins. Alan Collins is a little bit more different, a little more riffy. Steve Gaines, when he was in the band, great lines. He played out of the chords a lot, so he's definitely very well schooled. There was a guy, if you know anything about Lynyrd Skynyrd, of course, most of them are dead, but back in '77, they had that plane crash. And Steve Gaines, that's a guy in my life I would love to have heard much more of. Okay, and he was fairly young too. But anyway, all right. So let's continue. All right. Now, when you do the chorus, he only sings. Tuesday's gone. It doesn't keep going for a full 8 bars. He does 4 bars in the chorus. Then Gary comes in and plays that same solo. Then there's another verse. So there's always that. And that. So again, you have most of the chords that you need to play this song. All right. There's something else you can play in the chorus, and I'm going to talk about that now. We're in the chorus, all right? We did the G. Now you can riff on this D. I want to show you that because that's in the music. I hear that, and I actually have the score for this. So you play the A chord, right? This is the first. He does this all the time on that first D chord in the chorus. Or something like that. Now watch. D, just a little D like this. Right? 1, 2. Then go. And come up to here. So again, we have a D suspended sus2 chord or sus9. They call it sus2 in rock. You start with this little root 5th thing, play a riff here, and then come up to here. D, E, A. So you go to 5th position, and then you just do a small capo here. And that's in the chorus. Let me do it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 6. 10, 11, 12. And he comes back in with that. Then he goes through another 4 bars, and then he's back to the second verse. Does a lot of verses, chorus, verses, chorus. Remember, at the end of each part, okay, you gotta listen to the tune. Where does this come in? Okay. So you gotta figure that out. Now, before each chorus, as I mentioned before, I'm reiterating this point, right? So you have that there, right? Well, let's take it from the beginning. And remember, strong 4, strong 7, strong 10. All right. So I'll take it back from the beginning here with the looper so you can listen to it. Got my phase shifter on. Hopefully it's not making too much noise. But whatever, if it is. You might hear that sometimes in the background when I'm talking. But, we're going to talk a little bit about more dynamics. So we talked a lot. We talked about, these are pedal tones too, right? Okay. Usually playing this like kind of lower bass note here and making the chord changes, okay, are changing with that, say. So there's your pedal tone. All right, let me take it from the beginning, and I'll play through, most of the parts. Oh, maybe I should just play through the whole song. And the piano solo, I want to talk about those chords in the piano solo. So we keep stopping, starting and stopping and going through the whole song. I mean, I'm going to be here quite some time. But let me play a little bit more of it past the first chorus, and then we'll talk about the piano solo, all right? What are the chords in that? Very similar. They're just a little bit different. And during the piano solo, the chords, again, are a little bit different. Let me take it with me. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Here comes your riff. You can go to the chorus, right? Stay strong with the wind. Stay strong, right? With the wind. There's your next verse there, okay? So we have a good part of the tune down, things you need to know. Let's talk about the chords in the piano solo. Nothing really difficult. He just changes it up a little bit, all right? So your chords during the piano solo are A, E, same type of thing, D. Now watch A, E, F sharp minor, so what does he do? He goes to the F sharp minor. Normally in the chord, when he goes to an F sharp minor, he always goes to the D. Now in the piano solo, he goes F sharp minor, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 7, G chord. Listen to that part too, because they start doing some cuts there. I don't want to give you every single little thing, but listen to it, all right? Now you'd be fine just going 1, 2. So here's your piano solo chords, plays a little bit different in the beginning. Then he kind of keeps it the same like the verse. Okay, so here's your piano solo chords. You could do an A like this, or we could go back to here. Okay, let's do this now. Watch. E, sharp minor, D, sharp, A, E, sharp minor, D, sharp, Tuesday's gone, right to that. That's the chorus. Okay, and then time of the A. Now, riff. Gary comes back in with a. So that is used introduction to verse. All right, that first solo. Now, then you go to, there's a guitar solo there. Does that, back to a verse, another chorus, then the out guitar solo. So there's a lot going on in this song here. It's pretty long, like I said. It's about 8 minutes long. So I could play the whole thing for you, I guess. I'll try to do the out. So I'm not going to play the last solo note for note because I don't know that. I can improvise on it though, and I will. And I don't know all the words really well, or at least right now. Let me stretch a minute. Nag you. Okay, so we're gonna do the whole song. Play the whole song, and I think it fades out. I think my backing track is pretty much right to the album. All right, let's get it. Try to use a pick now. I'll back out a little bit so you can see a little bit more of me. Say hi. So we learned everything here, right? So I don't need to show you anything, so I'm backing out. All right, here we go. Singing down the line. Please take me far away. These trains, I'll try again. Leaving my room at home. verse. Oh no, oh, where I'm going. Maybe that's his words. Just want to be left alone. This train, I'll try again. La la la. Here's the chorus. With the again, right? Piano solo. Sharp minor, right? G. A. E. Sharp. F sharp, right minor. Okay, now comes the chorus part. Piano solo, Violette, right? Gary again with his solo. Verse, right? Last verse. Want to be capture chords, right? Alright, now Garrett's your solos here. Let's see. And there you have it. You know exactly where the backing track ended. So there you have it. Nice long tune for you to learn. And so I got a little bit off to a rough start. I don't know what's going on with this thing. It just has a mind of its own in the beginning there. It kept starting and stopping. So remember, folks, to sign up for my Play Like a Pro video courses, Pure Beginning Guitar course, Beginning Blues Guitar course, Midway Blues Guitar course. And before I do that, okay, your call to action, got a couple other things to tell you here. Call to action is practice, and hopefully next week we'll be doing another live stream. Maybe I'll do the solo for this. It's not, or at least the intro. I'm not going to do the whole long solo because, well, I don't know it. I can learn it note for note one day down the line, but those riffs are interesting. That interlude solo between the chorus and the verses is kind of neat, and it's not that hard. It's something, if you're playing in the band, you can get down. Okay. But what I wanted to talk about quickly is what I'm using for effects. Okay. Now I always have my trusty looper here, my Boss Lupa, but I'm not using a lot of effects right now. I'm using a Mini Phase 95 by Boss, MXR. I think Boss makes that as well. And that's my phasing sound. So you got that going on. And I set it up for the sound I like. The Mini Phase has the old sound and the new sound. To me, the old sound doesn't sound like what they're using. So you got to just use your ears and say, well, this sounds better like this. Okay, so I got it on blue, which one that is. Okay, and I got the Mini Phase on, and I'm using my Tight Drive Pro by Amp Tweaker, which is a great little piece of equipment. Okay, so remember, these are all live streams. So we, it's interesting doing the live streams here because, well, you see the human side. This happens, that happens. I love it when we do shows, mic falls, people are like, oh my God. Well, we can't edit. I could edit this out, but I'm not going to. So a little bit rough start in the beginning. Not sure what's going on here, but I'll figure it out with all the controls. It's nothing my staff is doing. It's something here in the control room. But anyway, as far as that goes, so yes, look for all our social medias. Look for the guitar courses, okay? We got uke courses. I got beginning blues courses, all kinds of things. And if you want to just give me a shout and, we could do lessons. If you're on Long Island, we have a lot of teachers working for us of all kinds of instruments. I could do a Zoom lesson with guitar and a lot of different things, but I like to do Zoom lessons more on the string things. I do play other things, piano and things of that nature. But yes, we have all kinds of things right here on Long Island, all kinds of teachers that could accommodate you, whether you want to learn cello, violin, viola, piano, so just give us a call, saxophone. We have a bunch of teachers working for us, and we'll try to get more to bring you some more music. All right. So that was a lot of fun, and remember to do this, Play Like a Pro, and we shall see you next time.
Play like a pro at String Sound Studio.